Hello, this is Dave for That's Us Gaming, and welcome to Dave's Ramblings, where I'll basically talk your ear off for the next 10 to 15 minutes about things I find interesting on the internet. Today's episode is about the rumoured remaster of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 in 2019. Now, I am so fucking indifferent at the prospect of this game. So Activision, what's the deal? The 2019 Call of Duty game will be shit, so we'll tack on some nostalgia to a special edition, and fuck the rest of you normies who buy the normal edition. We're going to sell you DLC that you probably already bought for Modern Warfare 2 on the Xbox 10 years ago. Maybe even add a few microtransactions, just in case there's some money we haven't already gobbled up. That is not how you remaster a game. Crash Insane Trilogy is how you do a remaster, and funny enough, that was from the same publisher, Activision. Now, the last Modern Warfare remaster was nice to look at, but compared to a lot of games now, just felt plain and slow. I think it's more a time capsule that I think would have been better if preserved in its original state. I didn't like Modern Warfare 2. In fact, World at War was the last one I enjoyed, so you can cry shenanigans if you want, but I'm telling you that Activision will need to pull a rabbit out of its arse to make this thing worth owning. There are a few things they can do. First things first is sell it on its own. Don't charge 50 quid, charge between 20 and 30, and they'll make their money back on nostalgia alone. 2. All DLC should be included in part of the download, and no microtransactions, and definitely no loot boxes. Not even cosmetic, just no loot boxes. And I think for number 3, a one-button reversion to the original graphics like the Halo remasters. Now, the reason I say that is because I don't personally think that remastering last-gen games is worth it. But if you can see at least how they used to look, and rather than having to YouTube side-by-side comparisons, literally just press the button and you have a preserved copy of the original game. You can see what it was when you originally played it to how it looks now. Now, I personally think that games for the PS1 that haven't aged well are the way to go when it comes to remasters. I mean, imagine a Croc or a Pandemonium remaster. Now, I say those two because, quite frankly, they're fucking great. I love the games, but they ain't pretty. And with the inclusion now of Medieval being announced, I think it's a damn good idea. But I mean, if we're talking Activision properties, then maybe they could remaster Spider-Man 2, the movie, not Enter Electro. That was long hailed as the best Spider-Man game in existence. Now, I'm sure they can get permission, because I know, I think it's Insomniac have the license now, but technically Naughty Dog owned the original Crash trilogy, but Activision published the Insane trilogy. Now, according to a list by Game Informer, there are currently 64 remasters on the Xbox and the PS4. That's a lot of games. 64 games are currently remasters, and it makes you wonder whether gaming is in danger of following cinema in just like the constant deluge of remakes, sequels, or just things adapted from other mediums, because that's all that currently cinema seems to be, is just either a sequel or a remake or a reboot, that sort of thing. And I'm just worried that gaming may possibly be going in the same direction. Now, I mean, maybe I'm just getting old, but a lot of games don't excite me for that exact reason. I can't just out and out enjoy a game without wondering how the companies are trying to get money off me, whether it's by rehashing an old game or just unnecessary monetization. It's one of the reasons I have a PC now. I can either buy a remastered game for $49.99 or the original for a fraction of the price. And in the case of BioShock, they just gave me the HD versions of 1 and 2 for free, just for owning the originals. Top man, 2K. Christ, I'll have more of that. But going back to Call of Duty, it's actually quite amusing that a tired series like Call of Duty is trying to inject more sales by selling its old properties again.
War never changes.
If they'd released a Modern Warfare trilogy with 3 campaigns and a selection of multiplayer maps, I think that would have been a purchase even for a non-fan like me. As it stands, if they do what they did with the Modern Warfare remaster and not change the multiplayer, everyone will just immediately know the camping spots, the best loadouts, the exploits, straight out of the box. I mean, so this is something that usually happens organically over time, where people will discover the best spots or they'll discover overpowered loadouts, but this will all be common knowledge straight away, you know, if there's no changing. And I've been in a party with my friends while they're on Modern Warfare 2, and it doesn't sound pretty. You know, there's screaming, shouting, like calls for cheats, and, you know, there was a lot of exploits for the Call of Duty games, but they're usually not found until later on. But as I say, this will be straight out of the box. People will all know this. I mean, I'm fully expecting fans to put it on and then just experience PTSD in the multiplayer as they realise it hasn't changed. All the problems that nostalgia has sort of filtered away will be there straight at the forefront of their mind, and they're going to be like, oh my god, it was never like this. Was it? Oh my god, it was. So that's what I'm fully expecting. And the thing is, just because it looks pretty, it might be okay for the campaign, but for multiplayer, well, to quote Obama, if you put lipstick on a pig, it's still a pig. It's still going to have the same old problems that, as I say, the player base has filtered out through nostalgia. Now, don't get me wrong, I am not saying that remasters are a bad thing, and quite frankly, I would be an absolute hypocrite for saying otherwise, as I currently play through Final Fantasy XII Zodiac Age, Soul Calibur 2 I'm currently going through on the Xbox. Christ, I've even got the remake of Final Fantasy IV on my tablet. But I just dislike lazily put together remasters like the Metro, Metro Redo, something like that. The 2 games, I just didn't see any difference. Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 just seemed like another lazy one. I mean, these games, to my eyes, they don't look much different at all, and they're definitely not as much value for money as the Master Chief Collection, or Christ, even the Handsome Jack Collection. I mean, that was still 2 games that you got for the price of 1, you know, but it was like, they looked the part. Maybe it's because of the graphics, you know, the cell shading works really well in Remaster, whereas Metro just meh. It was definitely not, I wouldn't have put it at the top of my list of things to remaster. I mean, hopefully in the future with the Call of Duty franchise, they might maybe clue on and we might get a Black Ops collection. Not that that would excite me too much, because I wasn't a fan of Black Ops. But I'm not really hopeful, because they absolutely love to milk this fan base for every last bit of cash they can get. But one thing I haven't pointed out is this is a rumour, but it looks very likely when you consider that Modern Warfare 2 next year will be 10 years old, and there probably will be a big deal made of it. And as I say, this is the company that will take every step it can to just try and milk its, you know, its player base. So yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm sure there's a lot of people who are more than happy for Modern Warfare 2 to come out just as Modern Warfare 1 did, you know, tacked onto a crap Call of Duty, special edition only, sell it later on. Yeah, we'll buy the DLC, why not? You know, what was it? It was a few quid more than it was when it first originally came out 10 years ago. And you can't call bloody inflation on that, for God's sake. But yeah, I think I've talked your ear off enough. If you like it, you like it. You know, if you want to tell me I'm full of shit, just let me know in the comments. But any suggestions, as always, welcome. If you've got a link for me to look at, I'd appreciate it. If you could give us a subscribe, share, like, anything, it all helps. Thank you very much for listening, and bye.